The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
The aftermath of every social revolution brings about change. Cultural norms and landmarks shift as our minds and hearts expand beyond the familiar. To everything, there is a season and a time to every purpose in the land of the living. This is our time to renew, revive, and restore the hope lost to the busyness of life. This is our time to dig again and rebuild from the storms of our past on a solid footing that holds. Welcome to The Foundation.
The Foundation.
The Foundation with Hearts Grants is brought to you by Alive, Burger King, the Cleveland Clinic, Commonwealth Bank, Print Masters, Ross Electric Motors, and Wendy's.
Foundation. The Foundation.
.9 FM radio, Howard Grant in your company, The Foundation. Howard, you late? Jesus, yes, a little late. I was doing something on the road, but I'm here, grateful to be in your jam the way that we do. Before we get out of here, I hope you guys started yesterday and definitely going today. Hold on, Bahamas. Our Magic Carpet Ride Rug sale is going to be on from June 26th until the 28th. So from yesterday until tomorrow, you can buy one rug, get another one free from Bahamas Liquidation. They are located on Mackey Street, just as you head on Mackey Street. When you're headed up the road, after you pass the F&M headquarters, I just want to be decent as I say this. After you pass that, you're going to see them on the right-hand side, guys. If you're coming down, they're going to be on the left-hand side. You can be able to go there. Bahamas Liquidation Center, they got it. Buy one rug, get the second rug 50% off. You can be able to do that now and until tomorrow. So it's an exciting time. I'm going to see if I can pass by and see if I can pick up one or two of those rugs today. I always enjoy that, right, guys? Make sure you pick up your Guardian newspaper. All the information's in there. F&M unveils the candidates. This is in the Guardian newspaper. P. Todd says, change is here. Absolutely peculiar that he would say that. I have to be able to highlight change is here. Put the double lines under that and just be able to talk about it today. CPSA and the PHA sign a new agreement, big stuff. Bahama House Policing Summit, so you can be able to policing summit. All the information's in there. All right, and then the charges drop in the baby shower murder. This is heavy. A couple of years ago, we actually been able to see about that and talked about that significantly back in 2022, on August 21st, 2022, right? You can be able to see that, right? So, guys, pick up the Guardian newspaper. All the information's in there. In the studio with me as I try to run this down as quick as possible is none other than Garth Roseborough and Gabrielle Aeneas. She's here with us today, being able to talk to us. Did they tell you, anybody call you and say, yeah. Don't you dare go on Howard Show? Anybody tell you that, Gabby?
I plead the fifth, Howard. I
know you can tell me. Don't you dare go on that boy show, yeah? I get a lot of cussing between yesterday and today. Yesterday, I took on this kind of a position to try to dissect the Free National Movement. We saw Roscoe Thompson, out of South Abaco, being able to step down as the chairman of the council. And we also saw the sort of a ruckus and the indifference that existed as the council in North Eleuthera. Is it North Eleuthera? No, South Eleuthera. South and Central Eleuthera.
What's that?
Where Cassius did not get the nomination, right? So there is there's kind of an indifference afoot. And I smiled from ear to ear last night as I looked at the posters polished in person's hand. The banners were made up. I laughed. I said, these people had made their decisions weeks ago. Yeah, because you had to print it. Yeah, they had to come to Nassau to take the pictures. They had to print it, and they had to get the things imported if they didn't get it made here to be able to have it prepared for last night. So this decision was made long time. Amen? Praise God. Y'all say good afternoon to the people out there.
Good afternoon, Bahamas. It is good to be back in the studio
Gabby, you
today.
might not be able to get back in the people place.
What they can do with me?
I want to know now.
What
Anyway,
they can do
go
with
ahead.
me? Howard, listen, you done
Go ahead.
starting late, and
Go
you're
ahead.
starting. You want stir up some fire
No,
already.
No. I
You
was
want-
the fire.
you see it and look red. Now the people need to tune in to the live stream so they can see how red you looking here today.
Listen. I late. I didn't even wash my face good. I just tried to hurry up because I was doing some things home, trying to be able to get some
But we
things
could chop
done.
it up. We could chop up last night. It was electrifying. I see you playing that simply
You
the
think,
best.
you think it was electrifying? That was.
I mean-
anytime I play that song, that's for Hubert Ingram.
Howard?
40% of the persons
Let's say hi to-
chosen last night
let's say hi
had
to God
served
first.
in a formal capacity.
You can't throw the baby out with the bad water, eh?
40% of them.
Didn't you say not to
Yeah.
throw the baby out with the bad water?
But you throw it minutes.
Hi, God. How you
You might as
doing?
well keep minutes. Anyway,
God,
go
how
ahead.
you doing?
Go ahead, God.
Me?
Go ahead, God.
Me after last night? After all those prophecies fulfilled?
Tell the people good afternoon voice, God. Where your manners gone?
Yeah, but right now I trying to exit the stage with y'all calling my name.
You're right here, God.
Okay, but then I gotta say good afternoon, Bahamas. Good afternoon, everybody. I trying to escape. I know y'all don't want to hear from me today, some of y'all, but it's okay. I'm here. And
God,
so
they didn't call me and cuss me out for you, you know.
that's what I'm trying to tell you. No matter what you do, it's still my fault. That's what I'm trying to
I
tell
don't
you.
know how
So-
a grown
If
man
I don't
like me,
say I tried to just exit just now, so they still can
they say
blame
how
me.
it's because of God.
That's what I'm trying to tell you, Abby.
I ain't on your run because you and Howard had a WCW without the W on Wednesday.
No,
good
you
time.
you was the one who called in telling Howard, but your Howard, I hear God and then I ain't here.
How you
told-
could have a WCW without
I
a W?
told Howard I just came on vacation. I could go back on vacation. You could come. And Howard said, "What you talking about? But this election time. You no more vacation. So what you want me to do?"
No, we
Boy.
gotta take vacation. in
Howard
the
just
high
picked me up. Reason why Howard was a
One
little
time,
bit late.
for
Let me tell
sure.
them why. Howard would have been here on time, but I told Howard from earlier this one I had to go to the doctor. So Howard, I need you to come and pick me up from Carmichael Road before the show if you really want me on the show. Now, if Howard wanted to give me the day off, he wouldn't have come for me.
He wouldn't have come for you. But it
But
wouldn't
he
have been
want-
as fun. I might have missed you a
So
little
he
bit.
came for me, and therefore we are late today, folks. That's what it is. I had to go to the doctor.
Guys, let's talk about these things. I'm going to take this quick commercial break. We're going to roll it out and dive into it. The 17 candidates has actually been able to be put out there to identify it. What we're going to do today is identify the SWOT analysis about those particular picks. Pintard says that the change is here, but 40% of his change existed prior, who says that we have some unfinished business to do. So we want to talk about those particular things and identify whether or not they can pair up, match up well to what we see. I like some so far. I really do. I really like Non Apico. I thought that was a good choice. I said, well, it's a better choice than what I was trying to suggest.
Let's talk about that, man. After you ready?
Let's talk about that after the break.
After the break. You started too early.
This is a good choice. I
It's
like
Friday.
that choice.
But you got to be decent.
I like that choice.
you gotta be decent.
And West Grand Muhammad look like it's doing well. But anyway, we can talk about it.
I have some choices of my own too.
You like
I
some good choice?
I
Okay,
got
we
some
can-
good choices in there too, man.
We can talk about it. Guys, let's take this quick commercial break and I'll be right back after this.
The foundation. 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 Foundation.
At Cleveland Clinic, everything. So when your primary purpose is to care for the world, you'd start with your community until you're accessible anywhere. You make complexities your specialties and put compassion before anything else, all to redefine what's possible. For everyone, everywhere. For every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic.
He is the king of crunch, the master of flavor, and he's going to set your taste buds on fire with the new King Crunch sandwiches at Burger King Nassau. Crispy fried onions, pepper jack cheese, and bold chipotle sauce. Plus, fixins cover a crispy chicken patty or 2 flame grilled beef patties on BK's new King Crunch sandwiches that are bigger, better, and bolder than anything around. And they're only available at Burger King Nassau. Try one today.
Great news! Ron's Electric Motors' new location on Cowpen Road, right next to Island Luck, is open Saturdays and Sundays. So for those needing repairs on electric motors, generators, welding machines, water pumps, battery chargers, electric lifts, transformers, and power tools, Ron's Cowpen Road location can have you up and running on weekends. Don't forget, you can still visit Ron's Electric Motors on Wolf Road and Claridge Road, and now Ron's new location on Cowpen Road. Dial 356-0249 or 323-5267.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. 96.9 FM radio. Howard Grant and your company, the Foundation, live and in full effect. I can run it all the way down from the top to the bottom, from the bottom to the top. Carlton Bowleg, North Andros and Berry Island. Ellsworth Johnson for Yamacraw. Ricky Howard, Ricky Mackey is going to be
name.
for. He's a good, decent man.
He's a good, decent man.
And he's a family
Ryland,
friend.
Are you all jumping the show?
He's a family
love
friend.
Read them down.
me.
Read down the
This is my
list.
father-in-law.
Howard, Ricky,
very,
Mackey.
very good
we
friend.
Get to them.
You know
You want to
that
get there
coming.
now?
That seat
You
Gurmac
starting
red
now or you
though.
starting later?
No, let's just run it down. Let's
Run it down.
That's what I'm trying to tell
Howard,
you.
Ricky Mackey, right? Michael Folks is for Golden Gates. Arinthia Komalafe for Carmichael. Jeremy Sweeting, Central and South Abaco. I laughed last night. His very good friend Ryan Pinder put out something and said, I want to congratulate my friend.
He's so
Jeremy,
trapsy. Why he's
Jeremy
so
Sweeting. And he put him in all
Them
the
light-skinned
PLP.
fellas really trapsy though.
PLP.
All y'all trapsy, man. I think it's
a
the
different
hue.
level white
The
skin.
hue.
Light skin, right? So Dr. Nicholas Fox for Fox Hill, Philippa Kelly for Central and South Eleuthera, Omar Isaacs for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, Brian Brown for Golden Isles, Therese, how you pronounce that? Terrence Boodle for North Abaco, Adrian White for St. Anne's. That's very peculiar that they did that. Very peculiar that they pull him out at the top of the thing. I smile from ear to ear. And East Grand Bahama is Crazy Thompson. Darren Henfield left Abaco entirely and came to the capital for South Beach. So I guess we're not going to be able to see Jeffrey Lloyd in that kind of a space anymore. Marvin Dames back at Mount Moriah being able to give his all. Dr. Jacqueline Penn Knowles and Marathon and Deborah Moxie Rowe. She is in Exuma and Rugged Islands. All right, so let's talk about this. Tell me who you like.
So
tell me what you think is going to be a good matchup.
I
right off the top.
wanted you to start off in West Grand Bahama and Bimini because we just came out of the by-election there.
Yeah.
Where
Let's
the
let
PLP was victorious. You are from Grand Bahama, so I thought we should start
Yeah.
there.
I like Omar
and let's
Isaacs.
move and go down south.
I like Omar Isaacs in that particular space. We know his father, D.I. He's been a part of the community, integral for a very long time. He's been a part of the fitness arm of the community and always a warm. He passed away some years ago, and we were introduced to him, to this young man because of his father. Okay. Right? And he's been a part of the community, really being able to develop himself in those areas and has become a businessman doing some business in Grand Bahama and really well. He got some good support down there. I don't know whether or not, based upon what's happening on the ground. Mm-hmm. Remember we talked about this. We said that whoever wins the by-election is going to have a difficult time and may not win the general election.
You said that.
Right? We're looking at this, and the PLP has shifted a great deal of things on the ground.
Yes.
They're doing some things as it relates to being able to push back against the tradition of what has happened and the rhythm of what we could expect.
Okay.
And so that doesn't mean that they fulfill some promises. They've made significant promises to West Grand Bahama and Grand Bahama entirely, and we have not seen those as yet. However, I don't know whether or not the political collateral, if Kingsley Smith, if he was able to build his own collateral, he has leaned on and got significant political loans.
From the organization.
Let's do it like that, right? He has gotten political loans. One of the biggest loans that he's gotten is sort of the compassion vote, right, from Obi Wilchcombe. And Obi Wilchcombe passed away. This one's for Obi,
this is for Obi.
right? And then also he would have gotten a significant support from the organization with the entire cabinet down in West Grand Bahama. I don't know whether or not he built his political collateral as an individual to be able to step into that space. Now, I can say this. Kingsley is a born West Grand Bahamian and Bimini. You understand me? Okay? His family is Bimini and West Grand Bahama. Remember we had this conversation with Ricardo Grant? We had the same conversation. I told you that the makeup of each particular constituency is identified through the lens of the relationship of the individual to the constituency. Now, Kingsley he's a Smith. I tell you, he is my family in real life. My grandfather was a Smith. He is a part of my family. You understand? And so when you look at that political makeup, he has a deep connection to the community. There can be this kind of a swing in the community towards the PLP because we looked at certain polling divisions who would have never voted PLP before and decided to be able to vote PLP in that election. I don't know if that was against Ricardo Grant or if this was sort of the sentiment that exists in the community that says it's time to give the PLP a real opportunity. So Kingsley is he's in this kind of a space. I don't know if he could retain that. And I don't know the political acumen of Omar Isaacs. I got to be decent with this as I say this, because Kingsley has been in the FNM for a long time. I just got to be very clear. Maybe you didn't know this, right? He is an FNM. He was born, he grew up in the FNM. I know him for years through the lens of politics, beyond the fact that he's my family. He's gone over to the PLP. He's brought with him relationships and understanding of how to navigate politics, okay? He's found himself successful. I don't know if he's built his collateral, but this could be a good fight to be able to look at, right? I need to see Omar's tenacity, his determination. I listened to him last night. His language was sort of a business-oriented language, right? Not necessarily
politician.
Yeah, not necessarily politician.
I think a lot of them
it was
struggle.
business oriented.
I think a lot of them struggle with turning the lights on and off.
Yeah.
In
well,
that
they have to get warmed up, right? They have to get warmed up to this. So this is sort of a cold call for a lot of them being thrust into this kind of a space. And so just looking at it, I would say to him, be conscious of the words that you say, because those things, they stick in people's mind. Maybe don't stick in people's mind, but they stick in my mind as I'm looking at you and expecting you to speak in the language of persons who are seeking to lead a community of people, as opposed to leading an entity or leading a business in this particular space.
Okay,
So I
Gabby,
thought that was good.
Listening to Howard, good race or bad race? Good
I think that's
matchup
going to
or-
be a good matchup.
Good matchup.
I think it's going to be a good matchup. When you have, similarly, we could jump from there as well to North Eleuthera.
You want to go all the way to North
No,
Eleuthera?
not North Eleuthera. Sorry, I want to go to South Eleuthera before we
All
go
the
to
way
North.
there?
I want to go all the way there because we're looking at good matchups.
That's Philippa Kelly and Clay Sweeting.
And Clay Sweeting.
Okay,
If we're looking at good matchups,
that's a good matchup.
I think that's also a good matchup because I
I
think
don't know Philippa Kelly.
she's from there. She's from there. There was
I
sort of
heard-
a clarion call for people more so pushing her into the movement.
I think she's gorgeous.
than she and she's a nice looking woman.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. If this is a beauty competition, she win long time.
The-
Clay can't beat her.
But I
It
don't
was a
think
beauty
it's just
competition.
she's a worker though.
Okay,
Philippa is a worker.
Let's shoot straight.
When we're talking community service, everything on the ground, she's a worker.
Okay.
Howard,
There
Howard.
was a significant pushback between Philippa and Cassius.
And Theo.
And Theo, right?
And it still exists.
And
still-
well, it's settled. She got it.
Yeah, but it's
what else you can do?
disgruntlement.
I think got nothing to do with nothing, baby. I got it.
Okay.
I think, and the thing about it is with
Stay mad.
with Philippa, we pressing on it. We moving forward. She's officially been ratified. She's the candidate. That's the matchup.
That's it.
That's it. That's all. That's finished. We ain't gonna waste our time trying to let out the hot air.
Okay.
That done dead and gone.
Now, I could tell you one thing. Clay Sweeting had a difficult time at one point as relates to water and other issues for those persons in South.
And she
Central,
lives there.
right?
So she's going through
So
the
she
issues
can-
with the people.
Yeah.
She's on the ground daily with the people, feeling when the electricity is off, when the water isn't running.
Yeah.
She is there advocating for them, working with them, making sure they go everything
But she
step
doesn't-
and step, hand in hand.
She doesn't have the pen to transform these things. Clay already then start putting some things out. Say, we got the water going, we got this going, we got
But is
that
it too
going.
late though? Are we going to think that our Lutherans, having gone through this, you've been the minister of works now, having gone through this, having the pen, and to do these things, are you going to think that we are so naive that we believe that you're doing this genuinely and sincerely because you want to see the transformation that you talked about in
You see,
Eleuthera?
but politicians ain't gonna lie to you. I like what Fred Mitchell does. He's not gonna come out here and try to jive you that I want to be your friend. Fred said, when you see me, I come looking for votes. That's point blank. Ain't no two
Fred
ways
said he's
about
going to
that.
the church looking for
I
votes.
came looking for votes.
That's the reason
And
he's
so
go to
when you
church.
see Clay making transformations in the community, I go and looking for votes. Because if we use your argument, then Howard Ricky Mackey should have never shown back up. Because this was the argument that they said about him in the last dispensation. Say he didn't do this, he didn't do that. Why? What about this contract? What about that contract? He did this, he did
I think
that.
there was-
all these things. And he's now returning into this particular space.
He, however, didn't have that proverbial pen that you were talking about. He wasn't in a position that when you put Clay in now, can make certain determinations without having to go over here and say, I got to go to this cabinet minister, I got to go to that cabinet minister, I got to see how much people I could talk to get things done. When you look at a Clay Sweeting, he could say, I need this work. I could sign off on this file on my desk.
Philippa got her work cut out for her.
Okay,
Let me
Gabby.
just
So
shoot straight.
I just think it's going to be a good matchup.
Howard.
She got her work cut out for
I'm
her.
not saying that she
Because
doesn't, but I think it's going to be a good matchup.
Clay wants to win, and he wants to get back in there. You understand? And he has shown us with his tenacity, with his ability to kind of pull in social media and technology and other concepts into his campaign and how he reached people, so forth and so on.
But the
I can
difference
see that
is,
he's
and
hungry.
the thing is, though, the people chose Philippa. The people
That ain't
chose
what I
her.
understand.
The broader
Hey, Jesus.
audience of people
That ain't what I understand. That ain't what
chose
the information that
Philippa.
came out.
I telling you this.
Okay, let's hear it.
Howard
Okay,
Grant.
Elutra called me. Did you all choose
Elutra
Philippa?
chose Philippa.
Praise God.
Howard.
There ends the scripture reading. Let's get on to the next
ahead,
point.
go
You want to
ahead.
say something on this guy?
Go ahead.
Because we got a whole 17 to go.
Go ahead, God.
Yeah, I
16.
think I want
I
to.
don't want to belabor too much points that ain't going to make no sense today.
Okay, what I'm saying, Gabby, you made a point about Ricky Mackey not having the proverbial pen to get certain things done. In our thought process, that did not happen for you for the first 5 years. I spoke to Ricky Mackey this morning on the phone, who happened to be a friend of mine, okay? Now, if you didn't have the pen the first time, there's no guarantee you're going to have the pen the second time. What the heck are you trying to go back in there for?
The people want him.
Ain't but the people. I know
people want him there as
know.
well.
The people is the same people who got rid of him, who call him back.
Boy,
You
when was that
don't-
election called?
Don't get
He was the
swing.
closest. Ricky was the.
Yeah, but listen.
You have the stats in front of you,
I have the
Howard.
stats.
You have the stats in front of you.
put
The numbers alone will tell you that Ricky was not ousted with such disgrace that he shouldn't step back forward. He continued as well to work in there, to toil. He's going to be returned to office.
Hold on.
I feel like he's going to be returned to
Gabby,
office.
You jumped the gun. You jumped the gun because Sylvius Petty is no longer.
You mean
Sylvanus Petty.
the future prime minister?
He's going to be the future prime minister, but not in this election. All right. He is no longer in North Eleuthera.
Who they're replacing him with?
We don't know.
We don't know.
So to put a Ricky Mackey in there, the PLP now recognizes that. This is why you can't show people your card too quick.
But
To
you
put
was
the
calling
people-
for the people to show the cards, Howard. You say send the candidates. It's been too long.
I agree.
Send the people.
According, watch me. The PLP strategically stepped back to identify these things. We've heard Shane Gibson about possibly being able to go down to MyCal. His name popped up. Then I heard someone else's name pop up most recently about being able to go to MyCal. They sent me a video. They say that this guy seeks to be able to run for the PLP in MyCal. I couldn't be able to put any clarity to that or any truth to that. However, if there is speculation that someone else is going to be there, what you can do with Shane Gibson?
What are we going to do with Shane Gibson?
This is what I'm asking you. If Shane Gibson is a floating candidate,
okay,
and if he could be strategically placed in particular positions, then this could also be a matchup. We don't know. So I can't call it for Ricky yet. I can't call it for Ricky yet.
I would tentatively.
If you put a strong man against Ricky,
we have to see who the candidate is. We still got time to talk about this, you know.
Praise
we
God.
got time to talk about all this.
Praise God.
So we calling it as it is today.
Praise God.
Politics is fluid. That's the thing about it.
Now, let's go to North Abaco. This Boodle lady, I like that. I like that.
You like that?
I like that. This Boodle lady, listen to me. I stayed here and I got a message saying, Howard, stay out of North Abaco people business, right? I laugh. I'll tell you who sent the message eventually, right?
I thought you didn't tell me that.
No, I ain't tell nobody that, right? So I laugh about who sent the message to me to say instead of North Abaco business, because I'd already said, well, if there's strength in North Abaco, why Cuban Ingram don't walk Dwayne Sands to North Abaco, right? People call me and say, Howard, stay out of North Abaco people business. Now I see Boodle pop up. Boom! I said, oh my God, Boodle is an Abaconian name. Boodle is also in West Grand Bahama. We know Boodle out of West Grand Bahama. Boodle is an Abaconian name. They have an affection to their community. They have these particular things. And there is a woman in this particular state. Oh my God, this is going to be a good matchup.
And I love a good woman.
In the event that Kirk Cornish stays in Abaco, this is going to be a fight to the bitter end. And I can see.
Yeah.
The only thing, now watch me. Boodle still have a major issue. Kai Mills. Kai Mills get over 700 votes, 719 votes last time.
I think she could restore. I think she could pull some of those for sure. I think she could pull them back.
Kai Mills is going to come in at 800, 900 votes this time.
I think she could pull them back. And the good thing about this is now she's ratified. She's the candidate.
Kai Mills ain't pulling no votes from the PLP, you know.
She is going to be on the ground. She can get on the ground. And until every ratified candidate, I don't think this is going to be a catwalk. This is boots on the ground. This could be head to head, neck to neck, boots on the ground. Pomp and pageantry, he ain't could get you the victory. That don't get people to the polls. This is going to be driving, getting your voters registered, firstly. You had hundreds and thousands between 2021 and 2025 of new eligible voters. That is persons in the last general election, they were age 14. My last little sister was one of those. First time now, 18, turned 18 in May, voting. They are not necessarily listening to what we tell them.
If elections called next year after May, my son and daughter will be voting. My son could definitely vote, but my son and my daughter will be voting in the next general election. So I say that to say that I look at this and just North Abaco more succinctly, if we look at it, I like the matchup based upon the allegations, despite the victory and being able to step out for Kirk Cornish and the vindication in that particular state, it still leaves sort of a stain on the minds of the voters.
They're going to have to get rid of it.
This sort of speculation. If it were me, if it were Howard Grant, I would remain committed to him as an individual, but I would find another space for him to serve. This is Howard Grant. Mm-hmm. This is not me. I'm not diminishing him. But to put a woman in that space as an advocate in these particular areas, she don't even have to make mention of that. She just got to stand. And that is a strong stand. Now, her position would have to be, how do I get Kai Mills on board? You need those votes. You can't let that go. You need those votes. How does the see? And the Free National Movement has not thought about these things. You letting McAlpine out there drifting in the bush. You let Kai Mills out there drifting in the bush.
But this is also based on low voter turnout as well. The Progressive Liberal Party, every time you look at their wins as well, it's been in elections where the voter turnout has been low. So that's disgruntled F&M party supporters staying home. That's people just being fed up in general of the process and the systems. So this is going to be a voter drive for both parties. But one of the things we've seen the PLP be good at is, no matter how pissed off those callers even that call into your show every day are, they getting up off their behind and they go into the poll and they can mark their X and then they can call back the radio and say, Howard, the PLP is doing this. But F&Ms tend to stay home.
This is what I'm trying to tell you. Low, medium, high, large, however you want to identify it. 719 votes ain't nothing to play with. If 8,000 people come out to actual vote, 719 votes that come from the FNM ain't nothing to play with. And 1,000 votes for Macalpine and Grand Bahama ain't nothing to play with. And so you have to figure out, how do we now appease these candidates and pull them into the fold of the Free National Movement? And that's what you're going to have to do.
They have some work to do.
Yeah, let's take a quick break, guys. We're going to take this quick commercial break and get right back. I think we'll go to news, eh? Do we go right to news? Yeah, we're going to take this break, guys, and go right to news and be right back after news.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation. The foundation. Foundation.
Guardian Media Group and Going Places Travel want to take you and 3 others on a 7-day cruise to Panama, Colombia, Curacao, and Aruba on Royal Caribbean Serenade of the Seas. And here's the best part, no visa required. That's right, no visa required. You have 4 ways to enter, 4 ways to win. 1, fill out the form in the Nassau Guardian. 2, listen to Star 106.5 and Guardian Radio 96.9. 3, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. 4, or make a purchase at Going Places Travel. Entry deadline is June 27, 2025. So pack your bags, get ready to soak up the sun, and feel that ocean breeze. You and 3 loved ones sailing the high seas on a vacation cruise of a lifetime. Drawing is on July 4, 2025. Brought to you by the Nassau Guardian Media Group and Going Places Travel. Certain conditions apply. Airfare, taxes, and gratuities not included.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
Electric Motors' new location on Cowpen Road, right next to Island Luck, is open Saturdays and Sundays. So for those needing repairs on electric motors, generators, welding machines, water pumps, battery chargers, electric lifts, transformers, and power tools, Ron's Cowpen Road location can have you up and running on weekends. Don't forget, you can still visit Ron's Electric Motors on Wolf Road and Claridge Road, and now Ron's new location on Cowpen Road. Dial 356-0249 or 323-5267.
Family life is full of joy and challenges. With a Fidelity personal loan, you can handle life surprises while focusing on what matters most. From home renovations to unexpected expenses, our loans are fast, reliable solutions to any problem life throws your way. Make that move today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation. The foundation. Foundation. The foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, 96.9 FM radio. Howard Grant and your company, the Foundation, live and in full effect. We got an hour now. The lines are open. Be part of the conversation. We're talking. We hit a couple now. We're going West Grand Bahama, North Abaco, South and Central Eleuthera, North Eleuthera. Let's touch Yamacoa. Garth, tell me your thoughts about Yamacoa.
Well, there's 2 gentlemen that we both can appreciate. Zane is a very decent guy, and Ellsworth is our guy. And so that's a good matchup. And I think when it gets that type of setup.
Zane is also my guy.
That's what I'm saying to you.
He's
So
my
when it
good
gets
friend.
like that, it's up to the people of the community to say to us which of their performances they favor.
I think of everything I've seen so far, that's going to be a hell of a matchup.
I love that matchup.
That's going to be, that is going to be, listen to me, we could actually see the formation of a leader coming out of this one because Zane, he's capable, he's not backing down from a fight, and we know Ellsworth is not going to do the
They're almost to me. They're almost to me twins on two different sides of the
This
fence.
is one of the matchups I'd like to even see a debate come out.
Yeah, I think Ellsworth is
This is good.
politically.
the parties,
he's politically
the parties liking
well-rounded.
and possibly a wave would actually make a decision in this particular instance, I believe.
But I'm praying that there's no wave.
You pray.
I don't think there's gonna be.
I hope to God there's no wave.
I think this is gonna come
Because
down
we-
candidate for candidate.
Yeah, we need to see the worth and value of each one of these people on the ground.
I almost asked you a question.
There's too
just
much
now.
of these people getting here off a wave.
I almost
And then
asked-
when they get in the House of Assembly, they can't read. I miss will be decent.
You know,
As I say this.
I was being indecent, Howard.
I know I have to be real with you because you cannot get in there off of a good smile and you find yourself in this kind of a position where you're ushered in based upon your organization or the entire country going against the government. And you say, okay, this is the time. Let's get in.
I was trying to make you smile, Howard. I was going to ask you a question even though I knew the answer. I was going to ask you when was the last time God answered your prayer. But I know you could tell me this morning. So, because some people don't get no answer prayer, Howard.
God always
I
pray
know you
to
say
God
something
that
like that.
there's no wave. I come against the wave, the salami, the tsunami, any kind of army.
But you know
I
for a
come
minute
against-
it was appearing to be a tsunami. You know that to be so.
For who?
For the PLP.
No, well, the PLP is the government of the day. We said already that the
Without
PLP,
candidates,
the
there
PLP
appeared to be a tsunami.
we already said that the PLP has to get rid of 10 candidates for them to even be considered. We got 3 to 4 down already. They got 6 to go.
I agree with you, but I also said if you have nobody representing opposition, but you did not have any candidates.
But now that
I
we have
said it appeared.
candidates.
I didn't say it is. I said it appeared.
I'm saying now,
Now
that you
there
have
are
the
candidates.
Now there are candidates. Now we're assessing the chin.
Okay.
And we said Zane and Ellsworth are like twins. They're like two great guys.
I think
we
Ellsworth could
appreciate
spike
them
him,
both,
though.
and we're going to wait to see the results.
That might be a deal. That might be a hard one to say that
It is hard.
Ellsworth
That's a hard thing. The community has to choose someone.
Remember, Zane is in a strategic position. He's the Minister of State. He has certain access to some
He has
things.
certain access,
right?
but has he been using the? I think when we compare to some of the other more popular ones in cabinet, I don't think he ranks high on that list. I don't think he's been one that we've been seeing much action from. Which ministry is he even in now? I remember he was stayed with Hannah
Education.
Martin.
He was initially
still
with
there?
education. No, he's in the
see
Ministry
the
of
fact that
Environment.
God is still saying that
No,
he's
no,
in
no, no, no.
education.
He's in the Ministry of
He was in
Environment.
education.
Yeah.
Okay, so where is he now?
He's in
His environment.
He's in environment now.
Yeah.
But is he really making a dent?
He is, let me tell you something. The PLP has identified, and whether they articulate it to you or not, based upon perception, they have identified youth and strategically seeks to put youth in there because the old guard is dying out. Now, I didn't say literally dying. I'm saying that they have come to the position and to the point where it's time for me to go.
And
Okay?
speaking
We've
of
already
that-
heard the chairman of the organization indicate that this is his penultimate, which was the last time. He said this is his penultimate. That means he can, this the last time he can run. He ain't running no more. All right? We've already seen Alfred Sayers take a graceful bow out. We've already seen, even for the first time that he's been introduced to politics, he's recognized that maybe this is a young man's game. That's Basil McIntosh. He's bowed out, right? Sylvanus Petty, I guess his aspirations goes far before him. And he says that I'm going to be the prime minister.
But how do you accomplish that without a party?
It's called a slingshot approach, right? So he's going to pull all the way back and then boom. I don't know how it's going to happen, but we're here to watch, right? So we're watching all of this, and the PLP is strategically taking the old guard out. I expect, whether believe it in our heart or mind or in our mouth or not, I expect there to be a graceful bow out while she's on the top for Glenys Hannah Martin. I expect that. I expect that the various capacities, they have done extremely well in these particular areas. It's time to give the young people an opportunity. I believe that she would gracefully bow out. The PLP now has to shift its guards. When I speak to Fred Mitchell, and I say, Fred, I want you to come on. Fred always says to me, Well, Howard, you got to consider some of the young people. Why don't you consider this one? Or
I
that
have to
one?
appreciate that
Young
approach.
people.
I have to appreciate that approach, but that's what
should.
I should. If you go back into the history of that majority rule government and you look at the ages, Pinlin was 36 years old. You had Adiana was 38 years old. You had Preston Albury, 42. You had Clarence Bain. These were some of the senior guys. They were in their 60s, early 60s, however, those 62, 61. You had Clifford Darling, 44 years old. You had Elwood Doniston, 29 years old. You had Randall Folks, 42. Arthur Folks, 38. And the list goes down. You had Maurice Moore, 27 years old, Howard. And so when you talk about this sort of energy, there has to be a synergy. But we see now there seems to be a pushback in the conversation when we talk about young people. Well, these young people, they need to go establish themselves. They need to go do this. They need to go do that. But where is the zeal, the energy, the work? What the Bible tell you about working while you're still young, while you still have your strength? Is that why we're seeing a lack of things being accomplished? Because a lot of these guys are tired now. A lot of them don't have the same strength they once had before to get the. Where is the call for youth? And so now even the FNM has to look at this when they are presenting these candidates. Where is the future going to lie? Because if you present candidates that are too old, and eventually either nature takes them or they're wiped out, because the largest percent of the voter population, 70% of them, are under the age of 40. So when there becomes an agitation for we need to see people like us, we need to hear from people like us, we need to see representation, what's going to happen there?
Let me give you some stats. 40% of the persons that rolled out last night with the Free National Movement are former candidates under the administration. 40% of them, 7 out of 17, right, are former minister candidates. 29% of them, 5 out of 17, are women, right? And for all appearances, it only seems that one person is under the age of 45. From all appearances, I ain't got all these people number. One person is under the age of 45. So this conversation and concept idea that we expected youth to be able to present itself, it didn't do that. This concept and idea of being able to present sort of a new slate, a new idea for a new direction. So we were looking for people that we've never seen before. That didn't happen. You understand? And this concept and idea that say that the Free National Movement is being able to look at a different direction to pull more women in. Okay, yeah, we could see the ratio. And if we go with this particular ratio and we identify this, if you're only going to put 29% of women in or 30% of women in out of the 39, 40 seats, you still got a load.
And you got Kumalafe in there. She's 44. You have, I really like Orinthia. I think her passion.
She still has a challenge, though.
I understand that she may have a challenge in there, but I feel like she's been working.
She have challenges?
Challenges.
Thank you.
But I feel like she's been working in there out thoroughly. I think she's been putting in the work. And you have to respect somebody who's willing to roll up their sleeves and put in work. She's having programs that connects with the youth.
The only thing I would say for Orinthia is the same thing I said about Branville. I don't think people understand that there is an allegiance that we play, right? Everyone has been looking for their space. Everyone. I've been looking for a political organization that I could pour my talents into to help see the country change. And I thought with all my heart, I promise you, it was not the FNM. After I came to a conclusion and an understanding that maybe this ain't my party. Maybe just how my mother found her party, my party would be the DNA. And then pouring myself into the DNA and pulling myself away from my family, even in my youth with young children, to take my little couple dollars to help the DNA, this was a commitment that I made from my soul. I wanted to see this. I moved to Nassau following the DNA to help them, but the DNA had different ideas. They pulled Orinthia in. I stepped back with observation to see whether or not she would pour her soul into this, and we didn't see that. We didn't see that. So if there's no commitment, even in the small things, no one convinced her that you should do this particular things. She decided that I'm going to do this, right? And so if you have that lack of stickability, lack of fortitude, lack of commitment in these areas, does this follow you?
I think.
Does this follow you?
I think it's
That's
a little
just
bit
it.
different based on our Westminster system, right? I think if you really want to start to drive change, there are two major political parties, Howard, at this time. And while there have been the formation of all these other sort of parties that want to drive change, I think there has to be a movement where you get more people that have the heart for service, that are willing to do the work inside these parties now.
Now, this ain't easy.
Infiltrating the system. It's not easy.
I don't want Arinthia to hear this because she already didn't think I have an issue with her. It is not true. It is not easy for her to be able to give herself for service and don't get the support that she needs. However, there is an element of faith that is required when you find yourself in these positions of service. That's just you just have to believe, and you have to be steadfast. You have to know and be so convicted in your vision and write it that when people see it, they say, my God, this is a good idea, and run with it. No one has the stickability in our country outside of the two major organizations. The FNM was established almost forever before they found themselves victorious in 1992, and they made modifications after modifications to see if they could find the right fit, and eventually Hubert Ingram became that fit. They was already charged up, fired up, and ready to go, but they could not get themselves over the threshold. Bang! Hubert Ingram was able to get them over the top. You understand? And so I say that to say, you don't discard the DNA. You find the right fit. The DNA is no longer an organization that for none of us to consider. None. Mm-hmm. No one in this country would even consider voting for the DNA.
They still exist.
I don't even know if they exist.
I
doubt they exist.
I don't think they exist anymore.
You understand? They've allowed this to go to naught, right? And we've seen that with so many other organizations, people who come to the forefront, who steadfast, who focus, who committed, who are faithful, all these particular things. And when they find themselves defeated, which you will find, listen, man, your defeat is designed to be able to build character and prepare you to step into the purpose that you're called to. You can't step in there unexperienced. You got to know. And maybe that's why Dwayne Sanders would be a good prime minister.
Howard,
let me take a telephone.
You can take that call.
Call on the line. Go ahead.
Howard.
Hey.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I always listen. I don't. Very seldom I call. But I'm calling today because I know I heard God's voice earlier.
Yeah, he's right here.
But did he leave? I can't hear anything.
No, he's right here.
God,
he's right here.
The accent.
I want to hear from God. I want to hear God's opinion on what happened last evening. Okay?
Okay, dear.
Thank you, my dear. I appreciate your telephone call.
God, the woman them love you.
No, I just try to be truthful. But I let Howard run. We doing good. I can run the show. I promise I will give my remarks. Not a problem.
All right, so then let's go into the next one. Okay, so let's talk about South Beach, right? South Beach is a peculiar one. Now, that's a matchup, Garth. You kick it off.
South Beach?
Bacchus versus
South Beach is
Darren Henfield.
It's a very important seat. Normally, the direction of South Beach is the direction of the victory. And so whoever comes out victorious in South Beach more than likely will be on the winning side in terms of governmental responsibility. Our good friend Darren Henfield, coming all the way from Abaco to South Beach, I found that alarming, to say the most. You left an entire island where there was devastation, and your responsibility there was to deal with the tragic circumstances. Either the people would have liked you for it, they would have adored you for it, or they would have hated you for it. If they liked you, then you should have returned. If they disliked what you did, then of course that is going to follow you all the way to South Beach. I want you to understand that. And so that has to be cleared up. In terms of Bacchus' role, he has had a lackluster performance, but only, he said, because he is a backbencher and he didn't feel as if he was given sufficient resources to do much for South Beach.
So both settlements share the same settlements?
South Beach is a needy seat. South Beach is a seat that where the people that lived in South Beach when I was growing up, they worked for corporations like BTC, BEC, etc. They were police officers, etc., civil servants of high distinction. And they left their children, many of them do not have career jobs. And so the hustle is real in South Beach. You've heard of gang situations in South Beach. And so you really have to be on the ground in South Beach. And I don't think anyone has actually repeated Howard.
No.
As a government in South Beach.
I think South Beach has never sat in opposition,
to put
right?
someone all the way as a backbencher in South Beach would be erroneous. You need someone who really has some muscle, some power, some strength, because that is an extremely crucial seat. And so Parker's role and Henfield, if I were the Progressive Liberal Party, I would change Parker's role just to ensure a victory in South Beach. I wouldn't take that chance because Darren Henfield, he is a very well-positioned man. He's articulate. And when he speaks, he can be persuasive.
He can be.
And
Yeah,
so,
but I'll use his ammunition against him.
well,
I'll use his shifting and moving. This is just Howard now.
okay, watch this.
I would move.
Persons
I
have
would say,
shifted
why
before,
would you
though, Howard.
move?
That's not unusual, though, in our politics.
Let me fix it for you, Howard. Let me fix it for you. Let me fix it.
In the midst of tribulation,
we
in the
spoke-
fact that we've moved when there was supposed to be transformation, both he and who else? Dr. Dwayne Sands, when we talked to Dr. Dwayne Sands, why he can't go to North Abaco,
Would you
so
just
forth and
say
so on.
Dr. Sands
Right?
need to switch somewhere?
No. Let's understand what I'm saying now.
Okay.
What I'm saying to you is that when we look at Abaco for the tribulation that occurred with Dorian, it seems as though those persons who would have served with close proximity to the minister's cabinet and dealing with that seem to be running away from Abaco, running away from these particular issues and trying to find themselves safe outside of that. But we right here, all of us can see you running from that. Are you running from that? And that got to be a real question that you put before Darren.
Or is there a better candidate that has emerged in Boodle?
For North and Boodle.
In Boodle. Is there a better candidate? And you say, I will step aside and yield because I feel like Boodle has the ability to do what I couldn't do. So I have to maybe suck up my pride, my ego,
I like him
put
fix
it to the side
You fix that for
and
him.
say that Boodle, there you go. Whatever you need from me.
I like how you fix that for them, but the truth of the
How I
matter.
fix it?
No.
How I fix
no,
it?
no. The
I'm
truth of the
so
matter.
good.
The ego that exists in men and politics, no one
Sometimes
believes.
you have to talk that situations put
Only leadership
us
can tell you
in
that.
the position that we have to tuck our egos to the side that is and put
you think that's
someone
what's
else to
happening
better
here?
because the way you just spoke about Boodle.
That was a good move they made,
Which-
by the way.
Who do you think in sacrificing the seat we should have said or they should have said let's run Darren back there and send Boodle maybe
No.
to South Beach.
The decision.
There
that the
has
Free-
to some
the decision-
strategy behind this,
listen,
Howard.
The decision that the Free National Movement made to put a woman in the person of Boodle with the last name Boodle from North Abaco in the position who's already served in that particular capacity. If I was Kirk Cornish, I would be scared because she coming to win. She already have relationship. She already have these things, but that's not the question. The question here is that before the consideration for Boodle, Darren was already on the ticket long time before this. Is he running? Or has this been a decision for the party to say, I think it'll be a strategic approach because you got both North.
can't answer that for the party.
You got North and South. Ain't nobody who served the 7 men here who served in the capacity in the minister administration prior, none of them.
But Michael Davil came all the
The
way
only
from.
person who have a hell of a time, the only person who has been able to retain that position and been ratified is Kwesi Thompson in East Grand Bahama. East Grand Bahama still have issues. They still got oil on the ground. They still got issues in Grand Bahama. He gonna have a hell of a time.
Davil came from Grand Bahama and he came to Tall Pines. He came from Grand Bahama where they said he was ducking and dodging every day and was able to come to Tall Pines and win that seat, Howard.
Did he run from a natural disaster or issues in the environment, or did he try to save his political life? This is different things that we talking here. There's 2 different things. Did he run from
Didn't
something
Halkitis
to
shift?
fix?
Halkitis was making significant contributions in Golden Alps. Halkitis had to pack up his pride. You think he wanted to leave there when he was positioned for a
That was
win?
a poor move they did, by the way.
But it happened. That
was a
decision
poor
was
move
made.
the
So
PNP
this
made.
is not something abnormal that we see in our politics, Howard.
No, I'm not saying it's abnormal. I'm just asking
Only.
What's the science behind this?
Let's ask.
What was the strategic approach?
You ask your good friend Dwayne Sands.
I know if Dwayne is my good friend no more.
Approach is.
I know if he's my good friend no more.
You
He really
ask your
cuss me.
good friend.
He really cuss me. I didn't get enough cuss from the people. Quick break, guys. Gonna be right back after this.
Foundation.
The Foundation with Howard Grant. We'll be back right after this.
The foundation.
Great Commissions Ministries is God's storehouse. They have been caring for the poor, homeless, and hurting since 1987. You are invited to support their Stop and Drop program by dropping off some food items in their barrels and some cash in their bottles. You can donate an offering each month or pay your tithes online to Great Commissions through the Givelify or SunCash apps. Help them to shelter the homeless, feed the hungry, and spread the gospel of Christ. Volunteer your service and support the Live to Give program. Call Great Commission Ministries, God's Storehouse at 325-5801 for information or stop by the office on Wolf Road. Be blessed.
You try to rest, but roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers, for window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it, just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361. Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We only got a pinch of time, and I try to be able to get through as much as possible. I see a couple of telephone calls on the line. I get some texts and whatnot. I want to be able to dive into that. Let's talk about these things. Let's talk about, before we get in, we've already identified these things. We could go all day about these things, but it's peculiar that, one, I did not expect them to name St. Anne's last night. I did not expect that to happen. I expected, based upon the chatter that existed, because they're looking for a space for Dwayne Sands, that there were enough conversations that said they was given this consideration.
As it stands, Dwayne Sands says he's
They
committed
put that to Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. He said that.
Hold on. Wait.
He hasn't announced his. He hasn't said he's going anywhere else. As it stands today, he hasn't announced that. Has he announced that to you? I know y'all personal friends.
No.
I know y'all personal friends.
He ain't tell me that. He ain't tell me that. But there's been enough speculation.
I mean, there is
enough
speculation.
Conversation.
But you also speculated that St. Anne's wouldn't have been. There was enough
This
chatter.
is what I said.
So this is what I say.
I'm looking at this, and based upon the information that came from the council to me, that my good friends who are MCM say, Howard, there's consideration being given about the possibility, and you got some telephone calls to say the same thing, about the possibility of being able to move in from St. Anne's. I said, absolutely impossible. That could never happen. Not in the 8,100 years. That couldn't happen. And last night, they sealed that. The F&M had to shut that down. Boom! Right in the first round, they put Adrian White. They put Adrian White out there. And I said, okay, this is interesting. Because now it leaves a couple possibilities open. Now we have places like Freetown, Elizabeth, Killarney, Central Grand Bahama, Pine Ridge, Marco City, Angliston, St. Barnabas, being in Grandtown, Centerville, Fort Charlotte, Garden Hills, Bamboo Town, Long Island, North Andros, South and Central, Mycal, Cat Island, and I'm sure I left out. Seabreeze.
That's what we left out.
I left out Seabreeze.
Seabreeze,
right?
Leslie, Nassau Village.
Yeah, I thought Nassau Village would have been Nikki last night. I thought I would have seen that. I don't know, but I'm saying I've seen her working assiduously and relentlessly in the organization and assisting in many matters. And so I thought that this would have been a shoe-in, but I didn't see that nomination last night, right? Which is Nassau Village, right? Mm-hmm. And so I look at this and I said, oh my God.
But you got Marathon in there.
I also expected to see Fort Charlotte last night. Wasn't that a sealed deal? In terms of what people are saying, in terms of that kind of a commitment, isn't that a sealed deal?
I can't say that anything is a sealed deal.
I know you can't say. Watch me.
I can't say that anything is a sealed deal, Howard.
And what about Kalani? Now this was tumultuous.
Boy,
Kalani's tumultuous. We know we got Lincoln.
I really was looking forward to seeing
Deal,
Kalani in that lineup, though.
But that was going to be difficult. You got Lincoln Deal, who is at the forefront. Every time I look on Facebook, he giving somebody some sauce. Praise Jesus. He working hard, right? And then you got Michaela Barnett. Every time I look on Facebook, she's smiling, saying it's a hard day we work today in these particular spaces, right? And now there's enough chatter that says there's a possibility that the chairman is looking at this potency, because I think, and I've said this before, it pairs well for doing science.
Why?
Yeah,
Why? I keep hearing you say this thing
caliber
about
of people.
this. What caliber of people? Kalani's makeup is not what you think it is. Kalani is made up in different pockets. You have Mount Pleasant. You have Gambia Village. You have Adelaide Village. You have so much different pockets. And actually moving into Kalani is so many young.
Watch me do this. Watch me do this for you. When you start to talk about
first-time owners who are struggling and feeling the pinches of everyday society the same way, you have so many of them that have matriculated to that Western area. I don't think the makeup of Kalani is what it was.
I can show you something. See, when you start to talk about these constituencies, it's the spirit that associate with these constituencies. Kalani and that particular constituency, Gambia, is almost at the end of the island. Core of the quote-unquote grassroots people live in the center of Nassau. For those persons who have liberated their mind and seek for places to be able to find themselves and find their families grow, they've moved out of that. They've moved to the extremity of the islands. Mm-hmm. So the extremity is either west or east. And these persons moved west. Now, Gambia, when you look at Gambia, this was the first free slave out of the Bahamas
and in this particular space. For 1 week to Fox.
The first free slaves. That means that liberation. That means that independence. That means that this kind of a spirit of this individualism exists in this space. You understand? And then on the top of that, you have one of the richest constituencies, one of the richest communities in the country in this particular space.
But that constituency is going to be, I think
it's
we
going to
can
be what? You can say Clifton?
Chop up.
Yeah, you think. We worry about what you think. We worry about what it is now.
Even as it stands now, I think we're getting to why this constituency deserves a certain type of person over that constituency. If you are there to do the work, it doesn't matter if you are representing Bean and Grantstown, get the work done.
No, but that ain't how I look at you.
Get the work done.
That ain't how I look at you. Okay, Gabby, let's do this. As I said to you, Isaacs may have a little difficulty, even though he was introduced to the community, the last name Isaac, so forth and so on. He may have difficulty fighting against a traditional 8 Mile Rock or West Grand Bahama, West Grand Bahamian, including Bimini name, because the community look at you through the lens of relationship.
I want to pin that. I want to footnote that word right there, relationship. There are strategic relationships as well that some of the persons offering themselves for Kalani have made and have been making. So while you want to pinpoint certain people profiles, there are relationships that will supersede those profiles. Because when you have this potentially being a 4-man race, relationships are going to come into play. So you cannot catapult anybody.
So this is what you're saying to me.
I'm not telling you that. I'm not saying that. No, I'm saying that the candidate will matter who is sent into Kalani, because it has to be someone that has been working, serving. I'm talking about that can go head to head with you. Okay, Howard. You coming along with me now. You coming along with me because they have to see.
One person coming to mind.
They have to see the future of Kalani.
Okay, so only one person.
They have to see the future of Kalani.
As you say this, only one person coming to mind.
They have to see the future of Kalani.
Lincoln
Deal.
Deal.
Have to see it.
Lincoln Deal, who would have worked the constituency for a very long time with Dr. Minnis, who knows these persons for a very long time. You think that they're going to identify the relationship that they would support him in that area?
Howard?
I see you ain't want to talk. Let me take a telephone call.
Take a telephone call.
Let me take a telephone call.
We can talk about it though. Take a telephone call.
Call on the line with us live. Go ahead. Hello? Caller, you on? Caller? Hello? He gone? Next caller. Call on the line. Go ahead.
Hey, Howard.
Hey, what's up, Anton?
Hey, good afternoon to yourself, Garth and Gabriel. How y'all doing?
Good, Anton.
How you doing, Anton?
Okay. Why are you laughing, Gabriel?
I thought I only could laugh because you was on my mind. I thought.
I know, but they didn't put that word. I just wanted to, as a Bahamian and a nationalist, first and foremost, congratulate the leader of the opposition on launching of his candidates last night in the meeting. There's a whole lot of back and forth to go around on both sides of the equation, no matter what, whether it be this one more from that area to that area. I mean, you have it right on up to the highest level on the opposition side, Howard, with opposition leader Michael Pintard, who would have moved around himself in various constituencies until he found what he felt was the right fit, where he can make a mark, right?
Mm-hmm.
And many others on the PLP side. And so that's a part of what happens. That's a part of what happens in politics, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, at the end of the day, no matter what moving about takes place, the PLP cannot run on anything else but its record, right? That's all we have. All we have is our record. The believability will only come about through what we demonstrated while we had the power. This is for another term. Delivery in this current administration. Not promises for another term. Minnis tried that when he was prime minister, correct? And he went from a super majority to a super minority, right? And the PLP went from a super minority to a super majority. My advice to the prime minister, I'm moving away from the FNM. My advice to the prime minister is use this opportunity to do exactly what the FNM has realized it needs to do in shifting people around, in moving people where they don't fit in or where they have failed. Use this opportunity now, PM, not at the election time. It's going to be too late, okay? You have to demonstrate while you have the power, not after you've lost the power and it goes back to the people. You have to move people who are not performing, move people who are vindictive, move people who don't have the heart that you have now, whether they're in your cabinet or whether they serve.
We said that, Anton. We actually mentioned.
Move them right, and FNM is demonstrating their capacity to do just that. They've demonstrated it last night.
Even with the rollout for 17 people, Anton, I got to go to a commercial break. Want to thank you so much for being able to give us a call. I know you can cuss me, but I got to take this quick commercial break, guys, and I'll be right back after this.
The foundation.
The Foundation. Right after this.
The foundation. The foundation.
Oh, Hungry for a deal that hits the spot and your wallet? Then stop by Wendy's and grab our $15.95 meal deal for two. Choose two of your favorite entrees, a Dave single, spicy chicken, or a 10-piece nuggets. Served with 2 junior fries and 16-ounce drinks. All for just $15.95. At Wendy's, we're always serving quality food at a great price. Available for a limited time.
It's time to upgrade the way you enjoy at-home entertainment. Alive Fiber is here. Enjoy all your favorite channels and streaming apps, all at lightning-fast internet speeds with affordable bundles, and it's only a click away. Visit www.alivefiber.com to sign up now. Stay connected, live your life. It's good to be alive.
Wait, why you look so mashed up like clothes at the washer?
No, wait, just a hard day, wait.
Hard day? What happened? The breakfast lady ran out of tuna and gritsy.
We need to start joking about everything, you know. This serious, boy. This real serious, boy.
Wait, what's serious? Tell me.
Alright, well, today, boss gave us boy one big contract. And nobody else get a chance and nobody say nothing.
Boy, you know that ain't right. You know government contracts ain't supposed to go that way.
Yeah, but nobody's saying nothing. Boss man just tell people to sign the papers. Then he send me to meet this boy downtown and collect this envelope.
You need to tell somebody. You need to become a whistleblower.
You know I's a real man, but I never blow no whistle. I be drunk all my life and junk, you know.
No way. A whistleblower is someone who tells people what they see when they see something wrong happening at work.
But I ain't no whistleblower, and I ain't no snitch. I still white there, you know.
But ain't nobody can know it's you. All you gotta do is call Crime Stoppers, or you could text them from inside the Crack Crime Bahamas app. They don't ask about you, and your call goes straight through to Miami, so nobody know who you is. And if you text, your message get mixed up like Kong Salad.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau, or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Foundation. The foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, very quickly, just being able to read this headline coming out of the Tribune. I bought the paper, left it in the car, I ain't look at it, you know. Tribune, they put the information out that says that John Pinder, I'm undecided on seeking renomination for South Abaco seat, with questions over his political future and criticism surfacing from within his party. Central and South Abaco MP John Pinder says that he remains undecided about seeking renomination. Ongoing discussions with his family. Well, let me help you, John Pinder. Let me help you. Let me help you, okay? I will sit here in the capacity as the chairman of the organization. Let me help you. You're not running. Yeah, because I don't need nobody on my team unsure of how to run the case.
Exactly.
I don't need nobody sitting around me talking about you ain't giving your all.
But
if you're here with me,
I
you
think
go.
that's the prelude often, right before they say, I'm not, because remember now, before Alfred says he did something similar, I'm still watching, wait and see. When they're not saying. So I think this is, again, Fred having these conversations.
You all ain't paying attention to what I tell you. Last year, between the first and the second quarter of last year, 2024, there was a conclave. I got a call from Bimini. I called one of my good MP friends. I wouldn't say who the name was. After I got the call from Bimini, I said, hey, what's happening, boy? I say, listen, man, you're supposed to help me out with this thing, right? He said, yeah, Howard, I'm in Bimini. And I smiled. I didn't say nothing. He don't know why I called him. He thought it was for something else, which is okay. But I just needed to know if he and other persons who they call name was in Bimini. Now, the information indicated that there was a conclave and that the party was looking at some other things. And the only thing that led to this particular value I could put to that conversation is then we heard Perry Christie take on this kind of a position to indicate that not everyone would be given a nomination, given an opportunity. I thought it was peculiar. The PNP got 32 seats.
So do you think...
Why would you say this? There's only 8. There's only 7 people we're dealing with.
So now you see this sort of stance that they take. Going back before we hit the commercial break with Kalani, do you think Ronnie in that kind of position, or you think they see this as an opportunity
Now,
now
I can say this to you.
To maneuver?
I can say this to you. Politics is a very unforgiving thing, very unforgiving. And the nature of politics is peculiar because the truth of the matter is that I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here for victory. I'm here to win. Not just for me, for my organization. I'm here to win. Okay? And so when you look at this, you have to look at the layout. Minnis is going to get about 1,000 votes out the gate. I believe this. This is what I believe. Okay? Minnis, a former prime minister, in an area, like I say, I hear what you say about them, but in an area where I believe that there is a spirit of progression that exists within these particular people. I would say the same thing about Easterners also. The extremities of the island is where decisions are made. Decisions are never made in the inner city. You could almost depend to be able to go with the grassroots route, to go with the PLP. On the outskirts is where persons say things like, well, what have they done for us? Have they taken care of this? The consideration is given on the outskirts of the island. Okay, so when you look at this particular constituency, I believe that Minnis will come out the gate with 1,000. This is my belief, okay? We know Ronnie's going to get 1,000 right off the top. That's 2,000 gone, right? They got to get everyone out the gate for be able to do that. Now, the FNM, when they come in there, they have to pull against Minnis's votes. And Minnis
This is why
that's going to be
before we went to
simultaneously.
the break, we talked about that. You have to have a candidate that can do that. I don't think that is impossible. I think we've already seen instances where it is proven to be possible.
Don't be vague. Be direct and tell me what I want to hear. Are you saying to me that Lincoln Deal or Michael Barnett or Dwayne Sands or whoever they decide to put in this constituency can pull away from those votes?
Definitely can see a Lincoln Deal pulling away votes from Minnis. When you look at the landscape, somebody who was on the ground with him there, somebody who's been there actually prior. Somebody who has been there.
We had a conversation
well.
and he says to me, Howard, I walked this constituency for years. The people he said the people that voted for Minnis may have never even met Minnis. They voted for him because of my relationship.
Because of the people I've talked to, because of the doors I've knocked on. So many times you have had people going and standing in the gap for you. So what happens when those people come out of the gap and say, I ain't coming here to ask you for someone else. I come in here to ask you for me. What happens now? So now...
But what about the same people who say, I ain't sending nobody to ask you for me. I come on myself.
It's the same thing. Late. It may be too late.
I like what you did there.
It may be too late, but I want to hear what God... we have a call?
We got...
Oh, Lord God, but I really want to hear what you got to say on that.
Let them call us talk, man.
Let them call it talk.
Go ahead, caller.
Good day.
Hey, what's happening?
Yeah, talking about Don Enfield, right?
Okay.
You see why he running from Abaco? Because he was a louse. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
All he wanted to do, he was in there. He believed he has reached the top of the mountain and hey, he's going to stay king in the mountain. He forget years was second and Minnis Yuck one of them away from there. So, him running the Nassau now and coming to South Beach is a waste of his time. So TC said this is a couple coins, what he making from the Senate, and go peacefully into the sunset. Because he finished. The political career finished.
Wow. I appreciate the telephone call. Let's get the next one in real quick. Caller in, go ahead. Call on the line, go ahead. Next call. Call on the line, go ahead. No 1 and 3. All right, let me see if I can read a couple of these texts before we get out of here real quick and see exactly what he says. Says, ma'am, please stop. Kalani is an affluent constituency. Lyford Key, Sea Beach, Lyford Hills, Serenity, Tropical Gardens, West Winds, Jacaranda, and the list goes on. I know one thing.
I know a bunch of young affluent adults that live there too.
Listen to the text today. It said, I know one thing. They better not ratify Lincoln Deal in this area. He will be rolled out and forthwith, postulate and forthwith is what they say. Ma'am, go to the events he has. There are never more than 50 people there. I live in this area, my dear. Trust me, he don't want this smoke. There's a text coming through. There's a text is coming through. Y'all don't kill me. I just read the text. It says, hey, Howard, Kalani will go with Minnis. That lady is lost. I'm sorry, but I just want to read the text, all right? So it says, hey, Howard, why are we trying to check boxes at this stage in society? We need the best candidate for the job, man, woman, or dog. Okay, this is peculiar that you would say that. All right, let's see if we can read another one. It says, Howard, tell Guardian Radio stop paying Anton to call your show. And 5 minutes, I'll definitely let Guardian Radio know that. Any money you give to Anton, just send it to me. All right. So it says, Howard, Dr. Sands versus Dr. Minnis. That is where the Machiavellian game is going to be held in Kalani, right? He says, former Minister of Health, both of them is former Prime Minister versus former Minister of Health, and it's about egos between Sands and Dr. Minnis. If Dr. Sands wins in Kalani constituency and sends Dr. Minnis home, like how Minnis sent Dr. Sands home when Dr. Sands was in the cabinet and minister. Okay, so this is an egotistical concept and whatnot. He says, Howard, it is not unusual for a candidate to run in and represent a different constituency and they had previously represented. It happens all the time, as your guest has rightly said. Michael Darvo came to Tall Pines from Pine Ridge and won. That's one example. You are perhaps privy to the information that the general public doesn't have. I'm certain that the parties have a strategy that they're on and will be able to reveal in the appropriate time. Okay, no problem. We could be able to see that. All right, it says in 2026, Hurricane Matthew ducking Darvo run from the poor representation as Minister of Grand Bahama. Oh, okay, so no, hold on. 2016, Hurricane Matthew. I don't know whether or not he ran from Hurricane Matthew. I do know that his representation was poor as the Minister of Grand Bahama. I do know that. He is a superb Minister of Health in comparison to his capacity as Minister of Grand Bahama. And I have to say that because I don't know whether or not they got a very clear understanding with the quasi-government that exists in Grand Bahama of how to be able to operate in this particular capacity. And I think that may have been sort of an Achilles heel for him in his political forte and his position, right? It says, Howard, your guest alluded to the youthful age of the leaders in the first PLP government. We have to understand that if we continue to elect old leaders, we will continue to fight old wars. Oh my God, this is heavy. So it says, for example, corruption, victimization, embezzlement, cronyism, political baggage, exclusion, and hoggotry, right?
Hoggotry.
Hoggotry.
I like that one.
Hogs. Hoggotry, right? So that's a new word for greed. All right. I like hoggotry, right? And Daza ran from. It says Darvo ran from everything. Ladies and gentlemen, the time is absolutely up. Jesus. We need to be able to continue this conversation on Monday and dive into it. Now, I got a couple calls that says, Howard, you got to be able to give comparison with the COI. Also, for the purposes of this conversation, we took it from a traditional angle, and I want to be able to dive a little bit deeper and talk about these things. But congratulations to the Free National Movement for being able to roll out your first 17 candidates. I don't know whether or not I'm testing the temperature on the ground to see whether or not the momentum is building with these particular 17 candidates. I know for sure Adrian White did enough for everybody last night on that stage, right?
Character.
Congratulations.